Hello, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how I made this crochet cardigan. The cardigan, it's worked from the top down. First the back from the top to the armholes, then the two fronts attached to the back. Those two also work until the armholes, then the back and the fronts are worked together until the bottom. And the two sleeves are worked in the round attached to the main body. For this project I'm going to use a super fine yarn. Mine is 100% lyocell. There are skeins of 100 grams each, 330 meters. I have 5 of them, so 500 grams, and I'm going to use it with a 3mm hook. We're also going to need a tapestry needle, a pair of scissors, a measuring tape, a clasp to close the cardigan, and sewing needle and sewing thread to sew the clasp. We are going to start our cardigan with the back. The back is worked in rows back and forth from the top down. The stitch we are going to use for our project requires to chain a multiple of 8 plus 4. So with your 3mm hook and your yarn, first make a slip knot. Then I'm gonna chain my multiple of 8 plus 4. For the back, I'm gonna use the measurement of my shoulder that I measure from the top of my shoulder bone across my back to the other shoulder bone. For me, that measurement is 43 centimeters, so I'm gonna chain the multiple of 8 plus 4. That's closer to that measurement. Alright, I chain my multiple of 8 plus 4. I chain 15 times 8, that's 120 chains, plus 4, 124. I made the chain a couple of centimeters longer than the measurement of my shoulder, and in my measurement I didn't count the last 4 chains. So now we are ready for row 1. For our first row, we're going to skip the first 3 chains from the hook, 1, 2, and 3, and in the fourth one we're going to make 3 double crochet. One, 2, and 3. The 3 chains we skip at the start are going to count as 1 double crochet. So basically these are 4 double crochet. Next we're going to make a picot. To make a picot, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then slip stitch into the previous double crochet. Like this. This is our picot. Now we are starting the stitches that we are going to repeat. We're going to skip the next 7 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in the next one, we're going to make a fan. To make a fan, we're going to make 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3, then 3 chains, and 3 more double crochet all in that same chain. 1, 2, and 3. And this is our fan. Then we're going to make a picot. So chain 3 and slip stitch in the previous double crochet. And these are the stitches that we are going to repeat. So we're going to skip the next 7 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and in the next one we're going to make our fan. So 3 double crochet, 3 chains, and 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 3 chains, and 3 more double crochet. Like this, and then our picot. Chain 3 and slip stitch into the previous double crochet. So repeat these stitches all the way across the row for the last repetition, stopping after skipping 7 chains. You're gonna have 1 chain remaining. I'm at the end of the row. After skipping 7 chain, I have 1 last chain left. In that last chain, we're going to make 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And our first row is completed. For our second row, we are going to turn around, then chain 3. The 3 chain count as 1 double crochet here and in all the other rows. Then in the first stitch, we're going to make 3 double crochet. Then we're going to make a picot. So chain 3 and slip stitch in the previous double crochet. Now we are starting the stitches that we are going to repeat across the row. Inside the chain space of the fan of the previous row, we're going to make a fan. So 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, then 3 chains, and 3 more double crochet, all in the chain space. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to make a picot. Chain 3 and slip stitch in the previous double crochet. And these are the stitches that we are going to repeat. So in each chain space, we're going to make our fan, 3 double crochet, 3 chains, and 3 double crochet. 2, 3, 3 chains, 1, 2, and 3, 3 more double crochet in the chain space, 1, 2, and 3, and then 1 picot, 3 chains, and slip stitch into the previous double crochet. Continue like this for all the chain space of the row. At the end of the row, after the last fan and the last peacock, we're gonna make 4 double crochet in the 3rd chain of the row below. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And our second row is completed. For row 3, we're going to turn around, and this stitch is only one row repeat, so from now on we're going to repeat row 2. Alright, I kept repeating row 2 until I reached my desired measurement for my armhole, which for me it's 21 centimeters. Now I'm going to put the back on hold, and we are going to work on the two fronts. First on the right front and then on the left front, and we are going to work them until we reach the same row as the back. And once we do that, we're going to join them here under the armhole, and we're going to work the back and the two fronts all together. Now we need to position our work with the right side facing up. The stitch is reversible, so it's basically the same on both sides. I'm gonna choose the right side as the one where the starting chain is on the right side. We are going to work our two fronts into the other side of the starting chain we did for the back. We're going to need 2 stitch markers to mark the stitches of the shoulder. Starting from one corner, we're going to count how many chain spaces we want our shoulder to be. I'm going to count 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and in that 5th one, I'm going to place my first stitch marker. Then starting from the other corner, I'm going to count the same amount of chain spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and there I'm going to place my second stitch marker. And these are going to be my two shoulders. We are going to start with the right front. We're going to take a new piece of yarn, make a slip knot, and we're going to attach it into the first chain on the right. Here. I'm going to attach our new yarn here. And then we are going to follow the stitch pattern of row 2. So we're going to chain 3, make 3 more double crochet in the first stitch, make our picot, and then we are going to work into the chain spaces. I'm going to make our fan and our picot in each chain space until we reach the one before the one with the stitch marker. So in each chain space, our fan, the picot, like this in each chain space until the one before the stitch marker. Then we are going to remove the stitch marker, and in the chain space where the stitch marker was, we're going to end our row with 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is the first row of our right shoulder, our right front. I finished my third row Now we'll start increasing for the neckline. We're going to increase only on one side, and on the side of the armhole we'll just go straight. So now turn around, and for our first increase we are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. The 3 chains count as 1 double crochet, and the chain is going to be 1 chain space. Then we're going to make 3 double crochet in the first stitch. 1, 2 and 3. And then for the rest of the row we're just going to follow the stitch pattern. We basically added 1 chain space here. So follow the stitch pattern for the rest of row 4. Then turn around and work row 5 until the last fan here. I'm at the end of row 5. I made the last fan and the last picot. Now inside the chain space we made at the start of row 4, we're going to make 3 double crochet. 1, 2 and 3. Then we're going to chain 1 and make 1 double crochet in the 3rd chain of the row below. Then turn around. We'll make our 3rd increase at the start of row 6, chain 3. Inside the chain space, make 1 double crochet, 1 chain and 3 double crochet. 1, 2 and 3. Continue the rest of the row following the stitch pattern. At the end of row 6, turn around and work row 7 until the last fan here, the last fan and the last picot. At the end of row 7, in the new chain space, we're going to make 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 1 chain, 2 double crochet still in the chain space, 1 and 2, and then 1 double crochet in the 3rd chain of the row below. This was our 4th increase. Now turn around. At the start of row 8, we're going to make our 5th increase, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and inside the 1 chain space make 3 double crochet, 3 chains and 3 double crochet. So now we added 1 full fan here on the side of the neckline. Continue the rest of row 8 following the stitch pattern. At the end of row 8, turn around and work row 9. Now we have a new fan here. Work until here, make a fan here, but not the picot. I'm at the end of row 9. I'm making 1 last fan in the new fan we added. So 3 double crochet 3 chains and 3 double crochet. I'm not making the picot after the fan, and in the last in the third chain of the row below we're going to make 2 double crochet, 1 and 2, this was our 6th increase. Now turn around, row 10, our 7th increase, we're going to chain 3, make 2 more double crochet in the first stitch, 1 and 2. We're gonna skip the picot again and make a fan in the new fan we made. Then continue with the stitch pattern until the end of the row. At the end of row 10, turn around, and row 11 is gonna be the last one of our increases, and it's gonna be just a row 2 repetition. So we're just going to follow the stitch pattern, make our fan until the last one, make our picot, and 4 double crochet in the third chain of the row below. So just following the stitch pattern. I'm at the end of row 11. I'm making the last fan, then I'm gonna make my picot, and in the third chain of the row below I'm gonna make 4 double crochet, and 4. So row 11 was the last of our increases. We reached the full row again, adding 1 fan and 4 double crochet, the picot, and the 4 double crochet at the end. So now we'll keep increasing, repeating the rows from row 4 to row 11. So it's a 8 row increase to add a full fan and for the picot and the full 4 double crochet. All right, I finished increasing. I added another full fan, a picot, and 4 double crochet here. So now I'm gonna continue straight until I match the number of rows I did for the back, and then we'll start with the left front. All right, I finished my right front. Now we're gonna start the left one. We are going to attach our yarn on the other corner, and we're going to do it on the wrong side of the back. For the right one, we attach it here on the right side of the back. This one we are going to attach it on the wrong side. Take a new piece of yarn, make a slip knot, and attach it to the other corner of the back on the wrong side. So you need to have the wrong side of the back facing you. Attach it here in the first stitch. And then follow the stitch pattern until you reach the chain space before the stitch marker. Then we are going to remove the stitch marker, and in that chain space where the stitch marker was, we're going to end our row by making 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And these are the stitches of our second shoulder. And now we are going to continue doing the same thing for the left front as we did for the right one. So we're going to work until row 3 and then start our increases in the same way as we did for the right front. Alright, I finished both of my fronts, and in the next row we're going to join them to the back here under the armhole, and from now on we'll start working from one corner of the neckline, then all the way to the other one, and then again back and forth, working together the 2 fronts and the back. Last rows of my 2 fronts ended on the armhole side, so I'm going to take a new piece of yarn, make a slip knot, and I'm going to attach it to one of the 2 fronts. If your last row of the fronts ended on the neckline side, you can keep going from there, from either one of them. I'm going to attach my yarn here on the left front on the side of the neckline. Then I'm gonna follow the stitch pattern until the last fan of this front, until here. After working in the last fan of the front, in the last stitch we're going to make 2 double crochet, one and 2. Then we're going to yarn over, insert our hook in the last stitch of the front, and in the first stitch of the back, like this, we're going to yarn over and pull up a loop through both stitches, like this, yarn over, pull up a loop through 2, and pull through 2 loops to make a double crochet. So we joined the front to the back, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and make 3 more double crochet in the first stitch of the back. 1, 2 and 3. We close our first armhole. We made a fan in between the front and the back. Now we're going to continue following the stitch pattern for all the fan of the back, and then we'll join in the same way for the second armhole. I follow the stitch pattern for all the fans of the back. Now I'm going to join this side of the back with the other front to close the second armhole. I'm going to do it in the same way as we did before. In the last stitch of the back, make 2 double crochet, one and 2, then yarn over, insert your hook in the last stitch of the back, and then in the first stitch of the second front, yarn over and pull through both stitches, and yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2 to make your double crochet. Then chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and make 3 double crochet in the first stitch of the second front. 1, 2 and 3. We closed the second armhole. Now I'm going to continue following the stitch pattern until the end. Alright, we join our 2 fronts to the back. We have our 2 armholes. And from now on, we're going to continue working the stitch pattern from one corner of the neckline all the way to the other one, like this, back and forth. And we're going to work the fan we made in between the front and the back, like a normal fan. And we're going to continue like this until we reach our desired length for the cardigan. Alright, I kept following the stitch pattern back and forth for the 2 fronts and the back, and I have now reached my desired length for the cardigan. You can make this as long as you want. Mine from the shoulder to the bottom measures around 45-46 centimeters. And now I'm going to work on the sleeves. Alright, we are starting our first sleeve. I am on the right side of my work. This is our first armhole. We're going to take a new piece of yarn, make a slip knot, and we are going to attach it in the under armhole in the middle of the fan we made in between the back and the front when we join them together. Attach your new yarn here. Then chain 3, and 3 chain count as our first double crochet, and we are going to make 2 more double crochet. 1 and 2. This is half of the fan, the other half we will make at the end of our round. Now chain 3 and make your picot. Chain 3 and slip stitch in the previous double crochet to make a picot. Now for our first row we need to space our fans as if we were working on our starting chain and we were skipping 7 chains and making our fan in the 8th one. Of course, the side of the armhole isn't as even as a chain, but we can count kind of the side here as if we were skipping 7 chains, like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Around here will be my 8th chain, and here I'm gonna make my fan, 3 double crochet, 3 chains and 3 double crochet. Then I'm gonna make my picot. And skip the same amount of space as I did here, so around the equivalent of 7 chains. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you can kind of count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 around here. So here I'm gonna make my second fan. If we make the fan too close, we're gonna have too many of them and our sleeve will be too big. So we need to space them as if we were working on a starting chain. Fan and then a picot. I'm gonna continue all around the armhole, trying to space my fan evenly. I made all my fans around the armhole. Now I'm back at the start after skipping the last bit here, the last equivalent of 7 chains, and in the first chain space where we made the 3 chains and the 2 double crochet, we're going to make 3 more double crochet. 1, 2 and 3, then chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and slip stitch in the 3rd chain we made at the start, completing our half fan we made at the start. Turn around. For the second row, we need to slip stitch in the middle of our first fan, like this, to get in the middle. And we're going to chain 3, this count as 1 double crochet, and make 2 more double crochet in that chain space. This is half the fan. We're going to make 1 picot, like this, and then continue for all the other fans of the row, making our fan and our picot in the chain space of each fan. Like this, repeat for all the fans of the round until here, and then we will complete the last fan at the end. We're back at the start of the round. After the last fan and the last picot in the first chain space where we made the 3 chains and the 2 double crochet, we're going to make 3 more double crochet. 1, 2 and 3, and then chain 3 and slip stitch in the 3rd chain we made at the start to join in the round, completing the last or first fan. Then we're going to turn around and we're going to repeat row 2 for all the other rows of our sleeve. So we're going to slip stitch in the first fan to get in the middle, chain 3, 1, 2, 3 to make our first double crochet, make 2 more double crochet in that first chain space, 1 picot, then 1 fan and 1 picot in each chain space until the last here, and then back in the first chain, 3 more double crochet, 3 chain and slip stitch in the 3rd chain to join in the round. Repeat that until you reach your desired measurement for your sleeve. Once we reach our desired measurement for the sleeve, we can fasten off and cut the yarn. Mine measures around 43 centimeters, and we're going to repeat this for the second one. We're going to take a new piece of yarn, attach it under the armhole, and in the circumference of the armhole, we're going to make the same amount of fans as we did here and work the same amount of rows as the first sleeve. Once we finish both of our sleeves, we are almost done with the cardigan. We just need to wave in the tails using a tapestry needle and to sew the clasp to the neckline so we can close the cardigan. And this is the final result. The cardigan finished. I sew the clasp to the neckline. If you don't like this type of closure, you can use maybe a string and tie it on the front. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!